Hi everyone, welcome back. This is the yearly reading with the Memory Astrologer. This is the second time that we have done the yearly reading, so I am so ecstatic. I am so glad that we are journeying through another year together. All right, you all, I'm going to break this reading down into about 3 portions. The first portion will be astrology, you feel me? The second portion will be a playing card. And the third portion will be an oracle. All right, you all. Please remember that I am giving the yearly horoscopes written this year, but they will be available for the public this year. And they will be available on Patreon. All right, you all. The Patreon link is in the description box below. The Patreon link is also in the Linktree link in the description box below. If you would like to send a love offering, a donation, if you'd like to send a tip, the Linktree link is in the description box below, and the Linktree link is also in my Instagram, and it's also in the YouTube channel description. It's all in there, right, you all? All right. So please remember to do your 3 deep cleansing breath. In from your nose, slowly out your mouth. To be open, to be aware, and to be ready for this weekly message. Oh my goodness, for this yearly message. All right, you all. So whole time I had to print out like a bunch of different charts of the same chart because I kept writing out on it going, you feel me? It's a lot on this one compared to this one. So this is the one that I'll be reading from, and I'll be reading some of the notes off the other one as well. But I also got some notes written down, you all. So it's lit, all right? So let's really get into it. First things first, happy 2023. If you're reading this and watching this in 2022, how you all let us prep for 2023. So, first things first, let's pull up the chart. The chart, oh my goodness, ascendant is Libra, 10 degree. So it is, the ruler is Venus, and Venus is in the 4th house. Excuse me, in Capricorn, 27 degree. Venus is also conjunct Pluto, while Pluto is also conjunct Mercury retrograde. So really what I've been wanting to say, like, I have been so thirsty to do this yearly reading. So what I wanted to say is that mind the business that minds you. First things first. Period. Second thing second, this is a very vocal year. This is a very vocal year. We need to be very vocal about our own needs. We need to be very vocal about our own desires, of our own awarenesses, our own growths. We need to be open and aware to our, the external self-validation need that's silently going on here. But let me really get into it. All right, y'all, let's get into the ascendant. The ascendant is 10 degree Libra. So first things first, in my mind and on the paper, I wrote greed, power, control. It's a power and control, greed going on here, but it's very silently. And it's also going to be a lot of reviewing on our formative years. In formative years, more so the ages between 0, you feel me, and 8. So how we engage with people, who was around us during those time periods, how was our relationships, what were the behaviors we saw, what did we eat, you feel me, what were some traditions, who were your friends during that time period, what was it like going to school, you feel me, all those thoughts, all those desires, what you wanted to be when you grew up, how did you view adulting or being an adult as a child, you feel me, all these thoughts are going to be coming up. And there's more so review on formative years on how they have shaped viewpoints regarding your experiences. So that's not your experiences as a child in those formative years between 0 and 8, But I mean from like 0 to right now, wherever you are, what age you are, how has your childhood experiences, your formative years experiences, your engagements, your relationships, your understandings, how have they shaped you currently? How have they shaped your mindset about the external world here? So, on the counter side of that, that's why I was really saying that this year we need to be very mindful about our self-solidification versus external validification. So really, we like, girl, what does that mean? So self-solidification more so means making self feel whole internally. And how to do that, girl, each his own. That's what my grandma would say. But whole time, let's break it down. So to really break it down, we would have to go into our formative years, understand like what type of things we like, what type of things we did not like, and then revamp it into how we are right now. So I'll give you a good big example. Me at my little bitty age, I loved going to the field museum and playing with those like rubber ducks and like going to see the water machine. So I love things like that. I love touching water, playing and all that good stuff. So me as my big age, something that I still like to do is do what Moon said, because it gives me that feeling, that sense, that validation, that need that was going out there. And I'm fulfilling it, right? I'm fulfilling it, but through another sense. And that's the whole thing about us. That's the whole thing we need to realize, see, and use to our benefit. Realize, see, or maybe see, realize, then use to our benefit. That's what we need to really be doing. Minding the business that pays us, 1. 2, self-solidification which means solidify self, make self feel whole. And a lot of times that's finding out what we like, what we don't like. We like, oh my goodness, I want to try this. And whole time we don't like that. We've experienced that before, but we are unaware of those experiences. So we have not made a realization or an actualization on if we like those things and if we don't like those things. So if we have a see, a realize, that means we can then realize and use situations or experiences and see them as the continuous cycle that they are. All right, y'all. So let's keep going. So we still at Libra 10 degrees. We still with the self-solidification. So here, a lot of times, I really want us to do this a lot because we're going to break it down some more. But the self-solidification, that should be our main goal this year. Making sure self is straight. Because Libra 10 degrees is really giving me like awareness of the other things that's going on. But what about you? What about your needs? What about how traditions have shaped and molded you? So we're using integrated forces already. We're using that awareness of experiences, awareness of others. But we're flipping it and not to facing the need or the eyes out on other people, but to use those eyes on other people to reflect it back to us, to bring awareness, validation, growth. You feel me? To realize traditions. To become more in balance of really what services you. What allows you to grow. What allows you to... I don't know, I kind of like this because it kind of gives like the testing of yourself, but through the others. And I really like that. That's why self-solidification is really heavy, is really needed this year, because that external validation, that wanting other people to view us and to see us and to honor us, we're going to want that. But when we get the right people, they will give that to us. They will exude that to us. So self-solidification, self-solidification. Self-solidification is what we're doing this year. Self-solidification. Self-solidification. Self-solidification is what we're doing this year. All right, y'all? So let's keep going. I'm reading between the chart and the notes. So there is a silent movement on following other people's force-like purposes. So there's a silent conversation that we need to be very aware of. The fact that we are wanting external validation, external connection, being sociable, being engaging. We want to do all those beautiful, great, and grandiose things. And they are wonderful and they are very needed. But we need to be very mindful of our own energy. For me, mind the energy that pays you, mind the thing that pays you. Our energy, when we use those things, when we exert, and when we get in these relationships, when we engage with these people, are we getting energy back? Are they just taken from us? Are they just taken from us? Are we getting an exchange anywhere? Are we getting something? You feel me? Is there like a barter and trade thing going on? Is it? You feel me? I'm gonna give us some questions to ask ourselves to assist us with the self-solidification versus external validation. I'm gonna give us some questions, but we need to be thinking about this. Silent movement on following other people's purposes. I had this meme on my Instagram at TheeMemoryAstrologer, and it says, oh my goodness, these crackers is really honest, and it says, Mars retrograde, do the people's behaviors and actions match up? And if they don't, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that's very much what are we using? We're using the baseline of their actions and their words. Do they line up? If someone say I love you, but do they give you the loving reciprocation? Do they give you the loving validation? Do they give you the reassurance? You feel me? Is it the way that you need it? Is it the way that we need it to continuously grow? So be mindful of other people's values, other people's desires, other people's motives, but also be mindful of your own. Just as we out here thinking and looking at other people, we need to be doing that same to ourselves this year. We need to be making sure that our values, our motives, our ideas, all those things align, our passions align. If we out here saying, oh yes, we're doing this and doing that, and we're really not, it's very hypocritical. We need to be very mindful about ourselves, but also about other people. There's a balancing act that's going to be continuously being enacted here. And the thing is, we need to keep ourselves in balance. We need to be mindful of what we say. We need to be mindful of our energy use. All right, you all, let's use this to our benefit. So, let's keep going. I want us to be very mindful of tit for tat behavior. Tit for tat, because our awareness is on the external. Say, for instance, we're growing up and we're saying, oh, I can't wait to do this, and we're sharing out, and other people are like, oh, I'm doing the same thing. Be mindful of very tit for tat behavior. Also be very mindful of engaging or giving a lot to people. Are you getting your energy reciprocated? Are you getting your love reciprocated? Are you getting your time reciprocated? Are you being reciprocated? Are things reciprocated? Are things balanced? And if not, let's find out why. What's off balance here? You feel me? Let's deeper understand that. Let's dissect that to uncover what's really going on here. So we can see, analyze, prioritize, define what is important to us, and make the set the goals, set the strategic goals to get where we need to go. To get where we need to go. All right, you all? So let's keep on going. We're still on Libra 10 degrees. And I really wanted us to focus really on this Libra 10 degrees on our ascendant, because Libra is it's not like fully, like completely mature, but it still has that sense of like growth, sense of need of independence, sense of growing awareness to other people. So here I want us to be very mindful as we're growing our awareness to other people, that we also need to be very mindful of our own self. All right, you all. But let's get into who rules Libra. So at the beginning, I said that Venus rules Libra. So I've already identified, already delineated, you feel me, what Venus is. So this is the ascendant, and this is the first house, the second house, the third house, and the star right here is Venus. Oh my goodness, there we go. So Venus, I believe, is conjunct Pluto, and Pluto is conjunct Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is in the 23rd degree of Capricorn. Yep. Pluto and Venus is in the 27th degree of Capricorn. So automatically what I think of off my head is the reforming of the family's development, to be honest, because Capricorn is structure, things that have been up for a very long time. And Venus here is balanced, 27 degrees what? Yeah, of independence. I like that. The standards of independence, the beauty of independence. I don't know the connection with Capricorn. Father's connection to their children and their family. Interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. So here between the ruler and the ascendant, I really want us to be very mindful on I like this. It's really a restructuring going on in our heart space. And here, forgiveness, awareness of our own personal needs, awareness of our own personal trauma. Not just within ourselves, but more so within the family. Probably within the paternal side, on the mom side. You get what I'm trying to say? Or it could be the mom side and just the matriarchs. I like this because it also silently talks about the growth of like parental development and parental conversation on child development. I like this. This is very strong, very strong. So I need us to be very mindful about a couple things about our lymphatic system, our skin, hair, reproductive system. Yes. Our digestive system, our kidneys. I need us to up intake our water. 2023, we need to really up intake our water. Our digestive system and our kidneys. Maybe our small intestine. Let me think about that. Give me 1 second. Yep. We need to really think about that. The things that we need to eat slower. We need to be very mindful of how much alcohol we are drinking, engaging in next year. I want us to be very mindful about our lower back, our lower butt area, our bladder, our urinary system. I also want us to just congratulate ourselves and be more grateful for current, like where we are, the steps that we take, you feel me? Even if that means like, hey, we got 5 things to do in a month, we only did 2. Congratulate yourself. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. Because it's truly the baby steps, you feel me? The progress is still progress. It's still progress. So we need to be very mindful about that. Because we want to do so much. We have a lot on our plate. We see that all these big, beautiful things that we can accomplish. But once again, that self-solidification, you feel me? That's checking in with yourself. Are you fulfilled? Do you have the energy to do that? And if you do have the energy, how long is it going to take to do that? What were you going to use that energy for if you were going to do that? So these are questions that we need to be thinking of this year, because we're going to be what? Minding the business that minds us. All right, you all, let's keep going. Some more notes that I wrote down. I want us to be very mindful about our generational nourishment and connections of security. So here, because we're going back to our formative years and really looking at that, and then looking at it from now, the adult understanding, we're going to need to understand that we are all given the ability and the opportunity to face and to understand generational needs, generational trauma, generational growths. And we can use it as a benefit to allow us to balance currently where we are. Like, we're using their understandings, their resources, their growths as resources to assist us currently. So with this year, I want us to be mindful that we are, when we are self-solidifying versus, not allowing external validation to come up to us, we are balancing our needs and balancing the family development on generational nourishment, generational connection, generational security. because we're thinking about those things. We're having those honest conversations. We're thinking about, the long term of our needs, the long term of things that need to happen, the long terms of connections. I like this a lot. It's a whole lot of thinking going on this year, a whole lot of in the mind going on this year, and it makes us slightly anxious. And I need us to be very mindful of how we are thinking, because sometimes, you feel me, are we aware of what's going on in the environment? We can overly share out, we can overly react to situations, and I need to be self-solidification. We need to be very mindful of ourselves. Mind the business that minds us, but check in with ourselves often. I mean, in the morning, check in with ourselves. I mean, if we're feeling a slight headache, sweetheart, baby girl, what's going on? So you good? You feel me? Check in with yourself. We need to have this constant realization and awareness, not a hyper awareness, but a sense of knowing, so we can know how to engage, know how to react. All right. Yes, I also wrote right here, it says worry about yourself. Also, everyone brings something unique to the table, and that is the finding of the uniqueness is understanding ourselves. Self-solidification. Everything is going to come back to that self-solidification versus external validation. That is what this year is going to be on. So, some things I wanted to share just blatantly share, I didn't want to share it at the beginning, is that this year, people are going to be very much trying to be very relatable. Wow, I had it right here. People are going to be fronting they move. That's why I need us to be very mindful of other people's desires. Once we aware of that, you feel me? Once we checked into that self-solidification, we can then be aware of the external awareness. We can then be aware of, what's really so-and-so's desires, so-and-so's motives. We got to start asking those questions. We got to be aware, you feel me? So yes, people are going to be very much trying to be relatable, and use this awareness, use these resources as a tool, because if people are going to try to be relatable, how far people try to go to be relatable? You feel me? Do you all really engage with these people, or are these people just, just engaging with you because they're trying to be relatable? So it allows you to be very mindful of people's motives. Why are you engaging with somebody? You feel me? It allows us to be aware. That's what I want us to be, aware of ourselves, aware of the other people, aware of ourselves, aware of the other people. I wrote something that was really funny, ha ha ha, but not funny, ha ha ha. What I'm calling this video is called the Deciphering and Validating of Ideas and Perceptions. And in parentheses, it's going to be attentive, adaptable, and accountable. Attentive, adaptable, and accountable. Okie dokie. So remember, there are horoscopes that will be on Patreon. You all can read them. They will be from all 12 horoscopes. And the extended version will also have some activities to do and just some affirmations to go along with them. All right, you all. We're going to have a couple more things to say. Yes, this year I need us to be very mindful about, there might be some information about women's viewpoints in history regarding the progress of independence. So that would go in stages. So when women got their first rights of voting and what that looked like and who all was it. You feel me? All those things would be just re-highlighted this year. And I think the growth of women, the development of women is very much gonna be like the forefront this year. Relationships with fathers and men, that's gonna be the mindset as well. There is also a silent movement on just following other people's purposes. So I say that as in the sense of like, people may be unsure about themselves and may be uncertain about themselves. So they're growing their awareness through other people. And that's the process that I want us to cut off, and to use other people as like, are they a person I want to be or a person I don't want to be? And you can use them as like an ideal to grow to. But we all need to tweak to make it the path, the person, the viewpoint that's, right for us, that aligns with us. There's also a huge thing that we need to pick up consecutively. I mean, like starting ASAP, is ancestral reverence, or just like uptaking spiritual practices. More so to assist with the growth and development of self, but also to assist with like keeping one steady focus and in the moment. So spiritual practices could just be, you checking in with yourself, you checking in with your higher self, asking your higher self, or going to get readings to see if, these are things or these are situations that can assist, or any of those sorts. So I need us to just be very mindful about that. There's also a huge, but once again, silent conversation going on about cultural or people or traditional wounds, and that's more so wounding of the identity, because not relating to other people or having different awarenesses about themselves within the crowd. And I need us to be very mindful and be very vocal about that, because it's probably not something one person is going through, but maybe different people. And I feel like if we are aware about that, we can kind of validate ourselves. What is it called when you give, not reverence, but reassure? You can reassure yourself and be vulnerable with yourself, but then you can grow to be vulnerable with other people. This year, I want us to be very mindful about how we're talking. So talk slowly and talk surely. So think about the words we say before we say them. Slow down. So maybe if we're thinking, maybe where's Mars at? Yep, when we're thinking about a lot of, when we're feeling a lot of, when we need to express ourselves, we might express ourselves very openly, and we need to kind of be mindful about that. We're growing a lot in our mind, philosophical, so that might look like people might be going to, what is this, Gemini? People might be going more into trades or picking up things like that, or going to like entrepreneurship. And I like that. If we are going that route, just be very mindful about like the steps that one needs to take that would still give, one the growth, the needs that one would need to continue living the basic average life that one is. Yeah. Also, we're gonna, if you are doing that and you have a lot of ideas, which we are gonna have a lot of ideas this year, I need us to write them down and to think strategically about those ideals. Like, oh yeah, I want to go to school to be an engineer, but how long does an engineer need to go to school? What classes do you need to take? How much money? What school has a program that you want to go to? You feel me? Like, how long do you think it'll take you? How many hours do you think you're going to take? These are all questions that one should really be asking before we're making these decisions, little decisions as well as big decisions. And since it's Libra here, our viewpoints are really on partnerships this year. And maybe we want to be in partnerships. That's the external validation. And we kind of need to be asking ourselves, well, what kind of partnerships we want to be a part of? What would that look like? How have you grown right now? What do you like right now? What will service you? What do you need as a mature individual? What does responsibility look like? How would the other person, you feel me? Like, we need to be having all these thoughts, all these conversations, especially with ourselves. There's also a silent but sure conversation about the reforming of parental values or fixed values of vocally engaging regarding developments of kids, their identity. So they could be, kids' likes, how kids express themselves, the type of toys. Also, the parent-child relationship. So that parent-child relationship probably began happening like late Capricorn season, realized around late Aquarius season. Conversation probably won't happen until about Cancer, early August, that those conversations happen. But just be very mindful about that. Just be open about that. Just be open to, growing your awareness to your heart right now. So prescriptions, first things first, I need us to just be more receptive and trustworthy, aware of really what's going on. That's why I need us to be very solidification is the first things first this year. We need to take heed of really what's going on. Take message, take count, my girl. Shoot, take account. That's what we was talking about. It was Deciphering, validating of ideals and perceptions. Attentive, adaptable, and accountable, because we need to take account of things. You feel me? And take account of things. So you want to do so much, but what matters the most, okay? You want to do so much, but what matters the most? That is what you need to be asking yourself. Write that down. If you have 10 things that you want to do, you feel me? Order the 10 things. And if you say taking the garbage out is number 1 and number 2 is logging in the work, my girl, you put that down. You put that down. You put that down. You understand why it's important to you, just as long as you do it. You feel me? Write to a to-do list. Do all these things. Make your habits strategic, so we can be aware of our own energy use, so we can be aware of the energy use we need to take all these things down, to accomplish all these goals. But also, I need us to take a step forward with that. I need us to also ask ourselves, well, when do we want to accomplish this goal? Give ourselves an end goal, an end goal day. So if I say Shashetta, if I say the memory astrologer, if I say, sweetheart, baby girl, I need you to read 12 books by the end of next year. And that's say absolutely read all 12 books in December. Is that really, for me, ideal for me? That means I need to read a book a month, right? So be strategic with your energy. I want us to start and set a timer for expectations, our end goal. I want us to congratulate ourselves more and be grateful for what we have. Our learning, our resourcefulness, and learning about ourselves. All right, you all. So since this year is about taking account, let's remember to take account of how to nourish yourself. What does that look like? What does nourishing yourself look like? And this year, I can see us splurging on ourselves. You feel me? Splurging about the ways that we are engaging. But I need us to be very mindful about ourselves and our emotions, because our emotion relationships, our emotional health, our emotional engagements can really impact our health and our stability. Really, our health and our stability, how we feel about ourselves. Okay? So let's be very mindful of how we're feeling emotionally, what our emotional needs are. How can we, what are our emotional connections like? What are our relationships like? Are they balanced? Are they in flow? What is important to us right now? You feel me? We need to really think about that long term. Think about the business that minds us. Be very mindful about vocally, sharing your desires, sharing your needs, sharing your motives, sharing your passions, but also make sure that your actions and your behaviors match up. Make sure that others people's actions and behaviors match up. You feel me? Something we need to be very mindful of is watching the engagement of others, watching our emotional reactions, asking ourselves, how can we grow deeper emotional connection with ourselves? Devotion to ourselves, emotion, devotion to ourselves, but also to people who are receptive, people who are reciprocative, people who are understanding, people who are wanting to, be in the same like-minded ideas as us. I understand this year is very growth on the emotions, growth on the heart. But that means growth on the heart consciousness. You are growing compassion. You're growing your awareness of your inner child. You're growing your awareness of better development of the identity of the self. You're growing to be self-sufficient of the self, trusting of the self, devoted to the self. But to be devoted, one has to see the importance of oneself. This year, you are growing. We are growing our awareness to our own internal importance. That's why I say self-solidification versus external validation. I love you all. I love you all so much. All right, y'all, let's get into this playing card reading. I want us to worry about ourselves this year. You feel me? Yes, I understand that we want to be very sociable. Oh, one bit. And we can be sociable. Time and place for everything, period. Time and place for everything. We can be sociable. What's this? 10 of Clubs. I like this because I was super thinking in my head it's going to be eclipse. It's the father, child, The father, child, and the mother principle. That's what I was saying. The father's relationship, the mother-in-law, the father's mother is very like the matriarchs of the parents, the mom. That is so important. That is so vital this year. I only truly say that, like, for real, like, because DNA is right across, it's right opposition, you feel me, the sun. DNA is right there on that midhaven. So to assist us with the growth process of the path that we are supposed to be on, we need to go to the back. We need to understand. We need to grow compassion. We need to grow realization. We need to grow the interconnectedness between our mind, our brain, our willpower, our true desires, our needs. And to understand that, you feel me, we got to go to the back. We got to go into the internal needs of that volcano. We got to go inside the volcano to understand the volcano. And this year, it might feel like a lot. It might feel like you have so much that you want to accomplish. But you have the strength to use your energy wisely. I just got a whole bunch of things to say, like, not for real. So here, that's we was talking about that generational trauma, the generational strength, the generational awareness, the generational growths that are going to go on this year. We need to be very mindful about what we are plot strategizing, what we are setting and formulating for the upcoming generation, for the upcoming futures. But we also need to be very mindful about stepping into authority, stepping into maturity, and what that looks like right now. What does that look like? What does that look like to you? You feel me? My desire and your desire is two different things. And that's what we need to check is our desires. We need to check our motives. We need to check our inner fire. We need to check our inner needs. We need to check in with ourselves. This year, we need to incorporate exercise and movement of the mind, of course, but of the body. And when I say that, I'm thinking of like, what is it called? Hip yoga, belly dance. I'm thinking of things like that. I'm thinking of sensual dances. I'm thinking of like moving my arms in like different parts of my body and then reconnecting them. What does that look like? How can you feel me, like revamp that, tweak that for like the person that you are? How can you use your energy wisely this year? There's a lot that you are going to want to accomplish. There are a lot of things that we're going to want to accomplish. We need to be very mindful of our own energy, our own emotions, our own senses, desires, but we need to be mindful about how we're going to accomplish them. How are we going to accomplish them? We have to make a strategic goal, a strategic list. And if you come over to the Playful Platform or Patreon, you feel me? We have those available there. We have accomplishments lists. We have to-do lists. We have journals. We have all these things and tools and resources to assist us to the growth of ourselves. To the growth of ourselves. I like this. I like this because it says to go forward when it has to go back. You know, when you was a little kid and you was trying your parents' clothes on, or like, oh yeah, when I get an adult, I'm gonna dress like this, I'm gonna do this. And now you're a whole adult, they don't dress like that no more. What you gonna do? How you gonna act? What you gonna be? How you gonna walk? You feel me? This also says that we a little scared and we got this internal fire within us. We gotta be very mindful how we use that. You feel me? We can come over and just screaming and just, it impacts people so much. We need to be very mindful of our own energy use. We need to be very mindful about our needs, about our motives, about how we engage with other people. This year we should think about picking up anything, tinkering, something with our hands, painting if you want to, archery if you want to, chess if you want to, strategic games if you want to, playing cards if you want to, rock climbing if you want to. It's something, it's like leg and hand movement. You feel me? Just golfing if you want to. It's something, any bowling, you feel me? Working out, legs and arms one day, you feel me? Whatever, think about it. But think about doing, you know, upper body and lower body together. And when you use your mind this year, and if you get, think about your mind energy this year. If you don't have the energy, if your mind not feeling it, take a break. Drink more water. Up your nourishment. It's a whole lot of greens you got to eat this year. And I'm not just saying like go get them salads and the salads with all them tomatoes and cheese and all the other stuff. Yes, eat that, but also just eat regular greens. Eat regular fruits and vegetables. Incorporate that in our diet. We need to incorporate that in our diet continuously, habitually. All right, you all. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, breath work is very important this year. Oh, our respiratory system is very important this year. Our thymus and our pineal gland is very important this year. And really what I'm seeing is like we need to incorporate warm teas. And I'm thinking like gold teas. So think about, I don't know, any of the gold teas. Teas that are gold in color. Yes. We need to be very mindful about our sun intake. We need to be more outside, be more out in nature. To calm ourselves down, we could be more out in nature, walk with nature. We might see a lot of grasshoppers this year, or grasshoppers might be a spiritual item that we see often this year. So I want us to be very mindful about green grasshoppers. Yes. All right, you all. Let's keep going. I'm tickled. It's nothing but clubs. This is reverse. Okay. I kind of like this. I really like this because he said to go forward. We got to go back. I like this a lot. I like this whole reading because it was all a club, and what I originally wrote at the very, I don't really want to show y'all this because I was writing a whole lot of crazy thing, y'all. Okay, so at the very top right there, you see emphasis on the child. We see 7 of club right there. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be a club. It's going to be club, most definitely. It's going to be clubs. But yes, that father, child, parent, that Christ card, that father, child, and mother card. We need to have honest conversations about growth as parents, growth as adults, growth as a family, and what does that look like? This year, family is very important. The eye is going to be on family, the relatability to family, the connections of family, the growths of family, families, lineages, and hierarchies within the family. Family traditions, family laws, family connections, people who are married within the families. Let me think. Could even children who feel estranged from their family, or maybe parents who feel estranged from the whole process of being connected. Maybe people's understanding of development of family. It's just a strangeness, a disconnect that's going on that needs to be reconnected. You feel me? The disconnect might be, people's thoughts and connections and ideals regarding being relatable, regarding the process or pathway of being an adult, of being mature, of being, you feel me, a parent, being an authority figure, the mindsets that people have. And because of that, real conversations, real ideas, real needs need to come to the face so we can understand them, so we can, you feel me, relate to them better, so we can connect to them better, so we can change them, so we can transform them, so we can transcend them. It literally goes 10 of clubs upright, 8 of clubs reverse, 9 of clubs reverse. We have to go back. We have to go back to understand, to research, to deeper define, to deeper understand. You feel me? to use this new ideals, you feel me, this 3, to use this new identity, this new awareness to our benefit, to start building better foundations. I love it. I love it. I love it. You all, this is such a beautiful reading. Oh my goodness. It's so much ancestral love. It's so much the breaking of like the way that we speak to one another, the way that we are engaging with each other in families. I love that. I love that so much because it's an opening to the heart. It's a realization to the heart. It's tears to the heart. Yes. It's uncomfortabilities. Yes. But it's for the growth. We need to be very mindful of how we're engaging and how our mental health this year. We need to be very mindful of not straining our energy this year, straining ourselves this year. Now, that really means, you feel me, if relationships are not receptive, if the actions, the behaviors do not match, be mindful about that because it can impact us. It can impact our minerals. It can, in our body, it can impact our ideas, our values within ourselves, within the world, within our growth, our purposes. But also, I need us to be very mindful that this year a lot of changes of the minds is going on. And it's allowing you to, one, trust yourself, one, redefine yourself, one, redefine your motives and your ideas about yourself, but also about your lineage, also about your family, also about your parents. We need to be very mindful about our ego and how we react to things. We need to be very mindful about our own emotional engagement, about overspending because of our mind, because of our thoughts, because of how we're really feeling. I love that. This year is going to be a whole lot of experiencing. So because we're going to be experiencing a lot, let's use these. This year is going to be doing a whole lot of experiencing. And since we're going to be doing a whole lot of experiencing, let's use these experiences to our benefit, but also let's use our strategic, let's just not be out here hopping and like, oh, no consequences. No. Think before we engage. Think before we enact. Think before we, jump into something. Weigh our decisions out. That can mean, if you want to get a reading before you do big decisions, come get a reading. It's actually guided to get a reading. To double check. You feel me? Being very mindful of who you communicate with this year, who you share and break bread with this year. Be very mindful of people's real motives, but also be very mindful of yourselves, your own true motives. All right, you all. I love you all. This is such a wonderful reading. All right, you all. Let's get into the oracle. This is such a wonderful reading, you all. At the end of this year, I feel like we will have a calmness within our mind, a calmness in our body. Also be very mindful of our shoulders this year. Yes, our shoulders this year. Okay, so we got... Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so we got... This kind of really matches it. So we have 10 of clubs and a 10 of diamonds, dark and red. You feel me? And then it went from, you feel me? So it matches up. You feel me? It matches up, you all. Let's go. So the first card that fell out is relax. And relax is really take a breather. You feel me? Maybe we're really not relaxing. That's how we got a whole lot of things to do. But what we gonna do first? Take a breather. Come back down. You feel me? Like we're blowing up all these things. We're blowing up our head. But we need to come down. We're not really seeing what's happening in the moment. Let's be mindful of what's happening in the moment. I really feel like it is a Moon Neptune, and I love Moon Neptunes because it's omens, you feel me? It's conversations that's going on, but we have to be aware of them. We have to be silent in a moment enough to pick them up, to be aware, to take it in. Like, oh, you know, that's really what's going on, you feel me? So relax, calm down, come back down to center. So here, maybe to relax ourselves, we should sit out and look up at the stars, stargaze, maybe daydream. We should do a lot of daydreaming this year. We should do a lot of incorporating creativity and fun and artistic and I don't know, body movement to like the logical, the analytic, the straight facts. We need to incorporate both sides, but not just once. You know what I mean? Not once every week. You feel me? Let's try to incorporate it habitually, which means daily, which means weekly. Maybe if you got to do 12 things a week, make sure that those 13 or 14 things, the things you want to do, maybe it's come home and play the game. You feel me? Think of ways to honor yourself, honor your inner child, honor that inner creative that needs to relax. And ask yourself, what nourishes me currently? What would allow me to be relaxed right now? Because after that, it says to pause. So relax, then to pause. And then the next one after that is to create. So to be able to do all these grandiose, these fabulous, these redefinings, these luxuries, these fabulous things that we're going to be doing this year, we have to what? Pause to be able to think critically to create. Pause. I wanted to show us this because we were talking about all the things that we're going to be doing this year. All the things that we're going to be doing. You see all these things that this person has? All these ways that the arm is just connected and grew and all the things that it's done. We need to be aware of all the things that we've done. We need to take a pause. We need to take a count. We need to take a count. What was it called? You feel me? What was this called? Girl, I do not know what I did there. It's called the deciphering and validating of ideas and perceptions. Attentive, adaptable, and accountable. We have to take account. This reminds me of Fossil Song for Imaginary Friends whole time. We should watch that. All right, you all. Think about all the beautiful things you've done, all your accomplishments. But also think of ways you can be more calm, more aware, more in flow, more reflective. And the last one is create. And create, it is a person who is sitting about, in a full room, but the room is filled with frequency, movement that the person has created. Himself, themselves. So to be able to create, one has to be aware of what's one's created. One has to be, cool, calm, and collected. You feel me? That room, it has nothing in it. One has to already be relaxed and paused to be able to create, to be able to manifest, to be able to bring all these ideas, these goals to fruition. Since we will be able to, we need to think about how we will strategically get where we need to go. Remember, things are constantly changing this year. Ideals are changing. Values are changing. And to be mindful about that, we should, be aware of our accomplishments. Give ourselves congratulatory validations. Allow other people to give it to us, and you give it to other people. Validate people. Reassure people. People are going to need that this year, and so are you. So how are you going to validate and reassure yourself this year? How are you going to pause this year? How are you going to relax and nourish yourself this year? What does that look like? How are you going to put that in your schedule, your habitual, your daily, your weekly schedule? How are you going to do it? All right, y'all, what's the back of that? Hey, 2 of diamonds. I like that. It brings us up to the Queen of Diamonds. Very strategic. By the end of this year, we're going to be girls and boys and understanding people. We're going to be individuals who are strategic in our mindset, who are sincere, who are empathetic, who are sympathetic, who are understanding, people who are logical, people who are creative, people who are able to bring goals to life. What goals matter? You know what show is just coming back in my head? The Cowardly Dog and that movie with the robots on Disney. And it was just like top or bottom, the back of this deck is energized. Period. You gotta use your energy wisely. I like that. And the back of the deck is inquire. You all, this year is very important. It's very vital. Clearly, that ancestral readings, that holistic readings, that services, spiritual services are very vital with decision making. You feel me? They're very important. They can assist us. All right, you all, find a trusted reader. Find a trusted individual. Trust yourself. All right, you all. Trust yourself this year. No matter what, trust yourself this year. Who taught you to not trust yourself? Bet on you this year, all right? I love you all. I love you all so much. Happy 2023, y'all. We got this, all right?